Good morning, everyone. It's Nick Petro at the National Weather Service in Raleigh with the weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period Monday through today, October 8th through the 14th. So certainly we are going to get to Hurricane Michael. It's now a hurricane, but I also wanted to give the usual Monday morning briefing like we normally do, and get that off and underway. So, just a quick overview of what is going on in the big picture. Like to start with the big picture. Let's get Leslie out of the way first, because that Leslie is not going. Here's Leslie out here in the Central Atlantic. That's not going to be an issue for us. We have, although you really can't see it on this map, there's a sort of an onshore moist easterly flow, which is providing a lot of moisture and humidity and giving us some showers right now. The thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on, of course, obviously, is Michael. But this system out here east of the Bahamas, that's going to give us a period of rain come late tomorrow night and Wednesday. So that will run up ahead. That system here, this system here will come in, this moisture will come in here from the southeast ahead of Michael's remnant moisture. So when we get some rain on Wednesday, that won't be Michael, that'll be leftover moisture from this. It's not a tropical system, but it will bring some rain to our area Tuesday night and Wednesday. And then, of course, Michael will bring Michael down here. Will bring moderate rain and breezy to perhaps windy conditions to Central North Carolina on Thursday. So that's sort of the big picture. Let me real quick just show radar, and you can see that east flow is that very moist east-southeast flow is giving us a few very spotty showers. In fact, I just had a 30-second downpour here at the office just a moment ago, and that's basically the character of these showers. You're not seeing much beyond out further away from the radar, because these are very low level, very shallow, closer to the ground showers. So there's probably some showers occurring elsewhere, but are just beyond the range of the radar, given the fact that those showers are so shallow. That'll be the nature of the rest of today, these kind of spotty showers today, but nothing too major. So back to the slides. Here is the pattern, and again, this is what we normally show with the weekly briefing, but again, those patchy showers. For the midweek period, we'll be looking at some of that moisture from off east of the Bahamas moving up and giving us some rain, and then, of course, remnants of Michael will be lifting north. Remnants of Michael late in the week will have exited. That's the good news. If the current forecast pans out, Michael isn't going to stick around very, very long. It's going to just blow by through here on Thursday. So that's good, because that'll act to limit how much rainfall we can get from it. So that's good news. Not to say that we're not going to get a couple inches of rain, but certainly not a stalling type system. And then look for the weekend. That's going to be some beautiful weather. Finally, a break from the heat and humidity. Finally, we're going to have temperatures struggling to get into the low 70s over the weekend. Low temperatures at night in the upper 40s to lower 50s, and plenty of sunshine during the daytime. Severe thunderstorms not expected for the next 3 days. And again, looking at the rainfall, again, just light type shower activity today and Tuesday. You can kind of see that moisture that I highlighted earlier coming into the southeast and the Carolinas Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then look at this swath Thursday and Friday. Actually, this will fall on Thursday. It just so happens that the graphic here is a 2-day graphic. But look at these rainfall amounts here. That is the current forecast as it relates to remnants of Michael. So what are we looking at? We're looking at essentially 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain, particularly across the eastern Piedmont coastal plain and Sandhills region. And then the system gets out of here, and Saturday and Sunday should be dry and nice, pleasant, cooler, less humid. The 7-day total, again, when you add up what comes in Tuesday and Wednesday with the remnants of Michael, you're looking again at a solid 3 to 4 inches of rain across all of central North Carolina, with perhaps a stripe of 4 to 5, maybe 6 inches of rain along the I-95 corridor, the coastal plain, the eastern Piedmont, Sandhills region. So certainly that could, perhaps give us an issue as it relates to rivers. That remains to be seen, though. Looking ahead to next week, finally turning cooler and drier. That's good news for the following week. So here's a summary for the week, not a summary for the briefing, but a summary for the week. Warm and humid today and Tuesday with scattered showers. Moisture and rain moving in from the southeast will provide a period of rain Tuesday night and Wednesday. That's not with Michael. That's that system ahead of Michael. And then the remnants of Michael will bring a period of moderate rain and perhaps some gusty winds to central North Carolina during the daytime Thursday, maybe as early as Wednesday night. Some localized flash type flooding is possible, and we'll have to keep a close eye on rivers for possible subsequent river flooding. And then it dries out and turns cooler for the weekend. Highs only in the lower 70s, lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. So here is a kind of a closer dive into what we expect with Hurricane Michael. So this is our first official Michael briefing, and we'll be sending out additional ones, obviously, as the week unfolds. But it's been upgraded to a hurricane as of the 11 o'clock advisory. And you'll notice that's now is forecast to become a major hurricane before making landfall in the Florida Panhandle there. So certainly that's a sort of the big change in what we've seen from the last advisory from the Hurricane Center. But notice how the remnants are expected to come up across the Carolinas later in the week. So we are going to have to deal with those remnants. The good news, like I said, it seems to be, at least according to the forecast, according to the official forecast, it will be moving very quickly. So that should help to limit the rain. When we're looking at the summary of greatest impacts, confidence is pretty low on how windy it'll get. So I'm not sure at this point if we're going to have to issue any kind of tropical storm watches or warnings. A system like this leftovers would tend to give us a few wind gusts, up around 30, maybe 35, or slightly higher. And certainly, any trees that are half leaning over already or weakened from Florence, there could be a few down trees and then subsequent power outages. And that's why we have the wind and the power outages at limited. But probably the biggest concern, of course, will be how much rain we get out of it, how hard it comes down initially for the flash flooding risk, and then the subsequent river flooding, which, as I kind of already alluded to, we're expecting mainly across the eastern Piedmont and coastal plain. So we do have those highlighted at elevated because we think that's going to be probably the biggest impact with this quick-moving system. To further elaborate on that, it's too soon to provide specific wind speed forecasts, but we do expect breezy to windy conditions on Thursday. Could give us a few down trees, especially ones that were weakened during Florence. Anywhere across central North Carolina, again, Wednesday night and Thursday. Flash flooding, when the rain is coming down heavy, and this is anytime, really. Anytime the rain comes down heavy, whether it's a tropical system or not. It could be an ordinary thunderstorm could give us flash flooding. It comes down hard enough. So this is a given. We're going to have a risk. All of central North Carolina could see periods of heavy downpours, and that could result in localized poor drainage or flash-type flooding, especially in urban areas. River flooding, well, we have to keep a close eye on that because really rainfall amounts will determine how much, if any, will occur river flooding. And the basins we're mostly concerned about are those across the eastern Piedmont, coastal plains, Sandhills region. And of course, there's obviously a little delay in when all that rain gets into the system. So we have that timing pushed back Friday into Saturday. With a tropical system, even a remnant tropical system, you can never rule out a couple isolated tornadoes, but that will be dependent on the exact track of the low center. Right now, we'll highlight all of central North Carolina, but that's going to need to be fine-tuned. So moving ahead to the likelihood for tropical storm force wind speeds, and you could see, we're at a 30 to 40% chance. So that's, it's pretty decent. And then the timing of that, if we do get into those gusty winds, late Wednesday night into Thursday, daytime Thursday, this is the earliest reasonable arrival of those winds. So again, I'm not expecting the wind to be a major problem, but we have a bunch of trees that are probably already leaning over from that didn't fall already from Florence, and if you combine that with the wet ground, there's probably going to be some down trees and power outages. So we got to be ready for that. That seems pretty obvious at this point. How much rain? Again, we're going to have to fine tune this. I'll call your attention again to the note at the bottom. Michael will be fast moving, which will limit the risk for prolonged heavy rains, limit the risk for extensive flash flooding, and hopefully reduce the risk for major river flooding. With an overall, 2 to 4 is a general amount for all of central North Carolina, but call your attention to this little swath here, if you will, of this 4 to 6. And again, that could be a little bit to the west. It could be a little to the east, depending on where that ultimate and final track of the low goes. But essentially, if there is a 4 to 6 inch rain amount, that would probably put the the Neuse, the Cape Fear, and their tributaries at risk for some at least minor river flooding. And then again, we have to keep an eye out for flash flooding with the heavier downpours when they come in. Again, Wednesday night and Thursday for the flash flood risk, and then river flooding possible Friday, perhaps lingering through the weekend. All right. What about rainfall amount or river potential? I want to say that these are not official National Weather Service river forecasts and rain forecasts. Rather, these are just simply raw model output, an ensemble of several different models to just show you the range of possibilities. Okay. And you can see why we don't have a good sense of confidence on river flooding, because let me get the highlighter here. Look how some of the hydrographs show it actually falling during the event. Well, there are a few that show it, going up into moderate at Smithfield. This is Smithfield, by the way. So the sense here is that there's a wide range of possibilities. The median is sort of low, but it does suggest the fact that the more likely range is there's more of it above the median than below the median. And I don't mean to be going into the weeds of statistics here, but when you have more of the likely range above the median than below, what that tells us that if there is an error, the error is likely to be larger on the higher side. Okay, so what this says is if we go higher than the median, there's a good chance that it'll go much higher than the median. So I do want to call your attention to that. And you can see these the moderate river flooding would only take about 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches of rain here to produce potential for moderate river flooding. So there's a lot that remains to be seen with this. Obviously, the fact that we've had heavy rains and flooding with Florence not too long ago might make it easier for the rivers to flood this time. But again, look at the spread in the models here. This is at Goldsboro, and look how some of them shoot up, some of them shoot down. It's a wide range of possibilities, and when you see such a wide range, some falling, some rising, that our confidence is difficult to have good confidence when you see that kind of diverging spread in river forecast levels. Okay, but the point is if we get into these upper ranges of heavier precip, if we get past 3.5, maybe 4 inches of rain, then definitely we're going to have to start considering at least minor river flooding. All right. So here's the little river at Manchester, and again you can see once again a lot of spread. But the one thing I don't see here at Manchester is any of the ensemble members going above moderate. Okay, so even with 4 or 5 inches of rain, none of those 4 or 5 inch rain amounts put Manchester above moderate. So that's good. That's good news. What about the Cape Fear? Again, mostly minor for the 4 or 5 inch rain amounts. So again, I think this is a reflection of the fact that it's a faster moving system. So it's even 4 or 5 inches of rain isn't going to give you much more than, say, minor flooding there on the Cape Fear. So that's good news. Rocky River near Norwood. This is an interesting. There's a lot of again a lot of not only timing differences. There's timing differences in crests. There's several crests here early. There's several crests later. But it all is related to this spread and how much rain falls. There's quite a wide range of possibilities. So my point that I wanted to make here is that our confidence, again, is fairly low. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and just wrap up this briefing. Remnants of Hurricane Michael will affect central North Carolina later this week. Our confidence in something happening is pretty good. It's moderate, but our confidence is low on the expected impacts as well as the location and the timing of those impacts, as I kind of pointed out on those ensemble hydrographs. we're going to have to just give it another day or two before we really can lock in on, if there is going to be any river flooding and how bad. But suffice it to say, we are going to see heavy downpours. I mean, that's pretty much locked in Wednesday night and Thursday as the remnants move across. And those heavy downpours could result in localized poor drainage or flash type flooding. I think that's pretty high confidence there. And then, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on those rainfall amounts, as that will determine how much, if any, river flooding may occur. And the main basins to watch include the Cape Fear, the Neuse, and their tributaries. And in terms of the wind, while it's too soon to provide specific wind speed forecasts, breezy to windy conditions on Thursday could result in a few downed trees, especially the ones that were weakened during Florence. Can't rule out a couple isolated tornadoes, again, Wednesday night into Thursday. And then that'll give us, the wind there. The previous two bullets is tied into the limited or isolated power outages, which will be possible. So, again, thanks to a fast-moving system, I think we're going to be okay with just keeping the river forecasts at moderate flooding if there is any. So, but of course, this is all subject to change based on the speed of the movement and where it tracks. So that said, we will be doing these webinars. We'll do another one like this tomorrow morning at 11:30, and then we'll be updating the slides as throughout the day as updates come in. So again, join me again using the same link that you used to join this tomorrow morning at 11:30 for an update. And then we'll adjust our briefing schedule as needed beyond that. So with that.